Geologist continues well into its fourth month. Daniel Robinson left work at the Arizona desert near the city of Buckeye on June 23rd, but has not been seen or heard from ever since. I'm joined now by David Robinson, Daniel's father. He's in Arizona where the search for Daniel continues. David, thank you so much for taking time to talk about your son. Of course, this is troubling for everybody. Tell us about Daniel, what he was like. Give us as much information as you can about him so we can get a sense of who he is.
Thank you for having me on. Daniel, he's a 24-year-old geologist. He graduated out of College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. Upon graduating, he came out to Arizona to take his final class upon graduation in Flagstaff. He was able to land a job straight out of college in a job called Matrix as a field geologist. He was out on his job at a work site out there in the remote area of the desert with another gentleman from a different company where he went missing. I was told that he drove off from the work site, and my son have never been seen again. However, his vehicle was found on July the 19th by a rancher who was out there chasing his cattle. That was some 2 to 4 miles away from the work site. We recovered that vehicle. There's some questions about the vehicle, the state it was in, some of the evidence that was there, my son's clothing, for instance, everything that he was wearing. But my son still remained missing. And right now I came out here from Columbia, South Carolina to make sure that my son has been searched for. And to do that, I had to start my own searches and continue to do so.
What do the police say?
Well, initially, of course, I'm not really having too much activity from the Buckeye Police Department. So far, they only did 4 searches in 3 months. I have done 9 searches with volunteers. Much as I'll get out of Buckeye Police Department is very little. Just waiting right now to see if I can get like the FBI involved because things are looking very suspicious and they're getting worse and worse by the day. I still, like I said, it's 3 months out, and we haven't have too much more coming from the Buckeye Police Department.
So you feel like they're not doing enough?
Not doing enough at all. Despite of the petition that I have, despite of the press conference, despite of the volunteers and the many people who follows the case, asking for a little more to be done. Very little has been done. So I'm going to keep pushing as you know, I'm his father. So of course it's my job to make sure my son receive all the justice he needs.
What about the media? Are you getting any help from local media talking about your case?
Well, hindsight now, looking back, I understand some of the reasoning when people, especially people of color, we feel like, you know, the sense of urgency is not there. We have to jump over hurdles and hoops just to get media attention. It took me 3 months to get to this point. That took many hours of no sleep, going on social media, you know, just passing out flyers, to everything I can think of just to get my son's name put out there just enough, just to have my searches reach a little farther out.
And I understand you've even hired your own private investigator?
That's correct. His name is Mr. McGrath for 3 Laws Investigation. Since hiring my investigator on, we found a lot of things about that vehicle that would raise a lot of questions. For instance, the vehicle being multiple times. My son's vehicle was first crashed 4 hours after he went missing. And it was driven, like I said, several miles after the initial crash.
Guess what?
You know, just things like that. It's more, you know, things like this. My son's sock was found a few distance away from where he was last seen. And the other sock was in the evidence bags that the Buckeye
You know,
Police
we're looking now,
recovered
you know, she
from the
barely got
scene of
access to
the
that
vehicle
thing.
some weeks later.
Along with this,
So,
I
things like that
have
is very
access to it, I don't
suspicious.
have time to look
I'm trying to get the Buckeye
at it,
Police
so
Department
Gary
to
be doing that.
upgrade my
Yeah,
son's
probably.
missing
Listen,
case into at least a possible homicide or possible criminal. Something that would give them the reason to do warrants and things like that, and really increase their search. But as it stands for now, they're not even moving at all.
Now, is it true that there are reports that Daniel showed some odd behavior in the days before he disappeared?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors out there. And, as a family member and as his father, I dismiss those rumors. They're not totally accurate. Just like any other person, hey, I'm down about my son's missing. My son possibly would have had some things going on. Well, it wasn't that he was depressed where he would try to do something to himself or he somehow disappeared from his family. He was having a bad day. Bad days don't mean that you're depressed or you want to kill yourself or something or run out from your family. So I dismiss a lot of those rumors that's out there. And I think there's a lot of character assassination coming out of the Buckeye Police Department.
Yeah, it's unfortunate people get judged when something happens before people just automatically want to try and help them. But thank you so much for joining us, and we certainly hope that you find your son. Take care.
NC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson was last seen in June. The geologist left his remote Buckeye, Arizona worksite on June 23rd. The case has captured national attention, with hundreds of volunteers joining in that search, led by his father, David Robinson. The group has covered more than 15 miles so far, and his father says they won't stop until his son is found. Well, joining us now is his father, David Robinson. Thank you so much, sir. I know this is a difficult time. We truly appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us. How are you doing? I know that's a silly question, but how are you holding up, sir?
Thank you for having me on. It's been rough. It's been 22 weeks now. My son's been missing. This Friday, we had to bring his birthday in. Hopefully, I found him before Friday, but it was hard, especially over the holidays. Not being able to say have Thanksgiving dinner with him through the Christmas holidays, the New Year. Like I say, this week the birthday. So it's been rough. It's been rough out there every day and every week in the desert out there, searching for my son in the city searches all along Arizona, and it's been rough.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the birthday coming up, he would be 25. The world knows him as, unfortunately, the missing Black geologist. But tell us about your son, Daniel, and the work that he loved and the work that he was doing in Arizona.
Yes, Daniel's a young Black geologist. He aspired to be that. He loved Arizona, for instance. It's an ideal place for a geologist. He made this his home. He loved this place. Get to hike and do things that he loved. So Daniel's a very a person that liked to seek adventures and things like that. But he definitely loved his family, and I can imagine how hard it is for him also. Whatever's wrong with happened to my son, I need to find out because I know our family love him and he loved us also.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Mr. Robinson, I mean, you've uprooted your life from South Carolina to Arizona to lead the efforts in finding your son. What have you uncovered so far, and do you feel any closer to finding Daniel?
I've been trying very hard to get law enforcement to really get involved, to take my son's case seriously. Try to get them from minimal work to maximum work. Yeah, I have all kind of leads that I follow, of course, but every time I go out there, especially to search for my son, I'm either in the city or in the desert. Every day it's almost like the first day. I come back empty-handed. But this week right here, hopefully, I'm bringing in law enforcement to my searches this weekend, and hopefully that will bring something significant towards my son's case.
Yeah, and I'm looking at you and thinking of your son's photo that we just saw, and he resembles you.
Yes, yes, that's my baby boy. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the resemblance. So what have you heard from the police, Mr. Robinson, when it comes to trying to find your son 6 months later?
Well, I don't hear much. I tried to send a letter out asking for the FBI to come in. I need outside resources. If I feel like the local department can't handle my son's case or don't have the money or resources they need to go for outside sources. So I did reach out to them to bring in the FBI. The only time I hear back from them was when they discussed that the FBI would not be coming in because according to them, the FBI felt that I was doing such a great job as a father looking for my son on my own. So they would not be coming in on the case.
Is that what they told you,
that
Mr. Robinson?
that's exactly what they told me. It's very hurtful for me. I don't really believe that's something the FBI would say. So I'm definitely working harder. I'm working harder to tie in some of those loose ends. My son went missing only a few hundred feet from federal lands, so I'm trying to use that as a avenue to force the FBI into my son's case.
Yeah. What about local law enforcement? Have they closed your son's case?
Well, after my son's vehicle was found, a few days after, just one day after, they turned all those things over to me, turned over the vehicle to me, all my son's belongings. They was all marked for safekeeping. So for that department to say they even trying to do any kind of investigation, how can they when I have everything? They don't have anything to investigate on. But they did clearly say that they didn't have any leads, and that's the reason why they gave me my son's things to go by. At that time, they said it wasn't investigating, but I do hear rumors now that they say they are. So I'm confused as a father. I don't know what they're doing. I do reach out to them and hopefully can get them to, like I say, bring in those outside resources that I need.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson, my heart breaks for you. I mean, you're wearing two hats, a concerned father on one side, and then on the other side, a damn good detective, according to you, is what the FBI told you that you're doing. I guess I want to end this on a happier note. Can you just share a fond memory of your son, Daniel, with us?
Yes, I have a lot of them. Just the fact that Daniel, he's a son that, put his mind to something, he actually do that. He's one of those people that, with my children, he's the youngest. And one of the things I love the most is that whenever, they go through their teenager years, that most times, parents and grandparents, we end up being like second choice to our children since they find their new friends. But Daniel always found a way to reach out to his grandparents, make sure they knew that he loved them. Even through the COVID time, he would actually left Arizona to come to South Carolina just to stand outside his grandmother's window to talk to her. He didn't want to expose her to COVID, but he wanted to see his grandmother. So Daniel has a great heart. He's a very good kid. He's always asking questions. We have our 2-hour conversations. And I miss those things. I miss a lot of that, so about Daniel. Daniel's a very good kid. And also he's a very brilliant man. And I'm grateful for him.
Yeah, most certainly, sir. And I just wish you all the best of luck in your quest to get answers and healing.
That's right.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son Daniel went missing from his job site in Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021. His vehicle was later discovered out there in that desert on July the 19th. And it's like this picture behind me. I have since been here since June the 26th. Have been here searching for my son. As you guys know, after the theory that the Buckeye Police Department gave about my son's case, I was able to hire my own private investigator, who in turn got us to this point. We have some lot of evidence out there that suggests that my son had been a victim of foul play, but we're currently trying to get the department that's in charge of this case to look at it that way. So, good morning. Like I said, today is March the 10th, 2022. It's been 8 months, going on 9 months since my son's been missing. You guys have been a big piece of everything I've been doing since day one, coming on the ground, since I've started my investigation, to hiring the private investigators, to hiring my attorney, to doing the searches, creating the searches, to passing out flyers, and being here on the ground with my boots on the ground. You guys have been there for me from day one. And I really appreciate you for being here this morning for the Q&A. I started Q&A for you guys to have your questions about this case. A lot of people show a lot of interest. It did hit some national attention, and a lot of people want to know answers. It's not just a case for me and my family, because we definitely want to find out what happened to my son. Definitely need to bring him back home. You guys have shown interest also that you like to see Daniel brought home also. I really thank you for your prayers. I thank you for your calls, your phone calls, sign a petition, and like I say, donating and come out searching and helping in every way that you can. I really appreciate that. As you know, as you see on the bottom of the screen there, we're having a candlelight visual for my son, geologist Daniel Robinson, on the 12th, the Saturday at 6:30 p.m. right here in Phoenix. All the information that you need to know about it is on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com under the events tab. I ask you to please go there. If you're planning to come out RSVP, I need you to sign up, and that way we can have the number of ribbons and candles that we need to make sure we have for you. We have a lot already waiting for you, and we want to make sure we have those numbers. So, and also speaking of numbers, it's very important that we get a big turnout. If you guys can bring, everybody can. Still had a hard time removing that part of the form that says 3 people. No, you can bring out how many people you need. If you can't get on the form, still come out anyway. We need numbers. The numbers count. Try to make a statement. As you know, like I said, it's been going on 9 months since my son Dan has been missing, and this case still hasn't moved forward. I still haven't got the department that's in charge of this case to utilize any of their equipment and their time. They have not. You haven't seen anything like all these agencies coming out to search for my son. Don't take it as he's missing in that way. Take it as he's a person that just walked off his own accord, and that he will come back for his things. I have everything from his vehicle to everything they took off the scene, evidence back. They never did any forensic work. They never intended to see this as a case until investigation until this case that went national brought a lot of heat to that department, and they're doing any and everything they can, in my opinion, to make themselves look good. But you see, like I said before, action speaks louder than words. So I'm not getting all the actions that I need. They're not spending thousands of dollars like you see in some of these other cases a day to find a loved one. That's not only happened to my family, it happened to many other families. And that's the reason why we're having this candlelight visual this weekend to bring awareness to that kind of thing. It's been not going on 9 months. And, we're still not getting the attention and everything that we deserve as a citizen of the United States, a citizen. My son's a citizen here of Arizona. I'm now a citizen here in Arizona, and we're not getting that kind of due respect and attention that is needed to find my son. And a lot of families don't. So I want to bring that kind of awareness to what happens when families go without that kind of attention. I see some having technical difficulties on the other end of the stream. If you guys can if you guys can't fully get this stream, I'm looking at it from the other camera, and I see a lot of bad feed there. Yes, it's having some kind of technical difficulty this morning. I apologize for that. I wish I knew how to fix that. But thank you for coming out. Like I said, this is a Q&A. I would like to ask some questions. I'll try to make sure I get down to it. Yeah, I'm gonna have a bit of lag to even go on the comment section, but I will try to do my best today under the circumstances. I don't know what's causing it, and I will try to figure that out. So for now, I'm gonna keep on pushing it, and hopefully that this feed will straighten itself out. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing in Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021. I've been here since June 26th searching for my son. I'm doing a Q&A this morning, and I will go down the list. And I really thank you guys for showing out. Thank you also, Leslie Beats, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you, Vic, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming out again, sharing your time here. Thank you, Christina, for coming out. Thank you, Minnie. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming out. Okay, thank you also, Lakeisha, for coming in. I really appreciate you being here this morning, joining in. Thank you. Like I said again, I have technical difficulties, so if feed go in and out, please forgive me on that. I wish I could do something about that. See how I can fix that. Rosemary Jackson, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your prayers, Dina. Thank you so much for coming out here to be here with me. So God bless you on that. Also, Sophia, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for all the stuff you do in the background and all those nice scents that you make for your products there. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here, for coming out and support. Also, y'all, thank you for your support and everything else. Like I say, signing the petition, going to the website, keeping up what's going on, and just doing everything you can to support, getting the word out and things like that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, T. Sophia, for everything you're doing in the background. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate that. You coming out here. You also, thank you for being out there, being an administrator. Good morning to you. Being an administrator here and helping out. Thank you so much, Gina. Thank you for what you've done, what you're doing in the background. Also, thank you for your prayers, and thank you so much. I really appreciate you very much. So thank you, everybody who's coming out. To see so many of you guys, and I really appreciate that. Rosemary Jackson, if I say your name more than once, I thank you. This double thanks, prayers. Thank you for your prayers, and for my family and myself, I really appreciate that. And Daniel, he's a great man. He's a great man, and I love him, and I can't wait to be reunited with him again. I'm praying to God that he brings my son back intact, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gwen, for being an administrator also and being here this morning. I love you for that. Thank you so much, and thank you for putting everything out for the candlelight visual. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Esther, for being here this morning. Thank you for, like I say, putting that out there. Everybody share. Please share. Hit the like, subscribe, and you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for doing all of that stuff for this YouTube channel to get the channel out there. It's very important. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Gwen. The like, share, and subscribe button. There you go. And thank you so much for doing that. Keep this channel going because I need to reach as many people as I can. And I know we talk about some of the same things here, but you guys putting out a lot of new people don't know. A lot of people don't know about this case. And believe it or not, I'm here in Arizona all the time, and there's still room for people to know what's going on. If people don't know that you're looking, they don't remember something. So get those words out, and maybe somebody can remember something, say something. Thank you, 12-Step Woman. No, you didn't miss this live. We're here. You probably caught it when I have some technical difficulties. I think I'm looking at the screen over there now. It's like it's cleared up some. So I'm really grateful that it's finally getting there. Thank you, Nikki, for coming in. Good morning to you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here from Facebook. I really appreciate you. Shrink and Sharon, thank you for coming out again, being a part. I really appreciate you taking time out this morning to be here to show support. I really appreciate that. And also, okay, I have some questions here starting to come in. If I miss you, I'll tell you good morning to everybody. Thank you so much. I thank you, Lawrence, for being here. Thank you so much. The feed is okay now. Thank you. I really appreciate it for giving me that information. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm doing this Q&A for those who have questions. I will start getting two of those questions, and at the same time, I will try to give you some more information about things that's coming up, events and things like that. So I have the first question. If I miss your question, please ask the question again. I'm going on timeline. If you want to put the word question there first, or letter Q, capital letter Q. And that way it helped me when I go down timeline to actually see those questions and I get to them. So I'll start with the questions. The first one, just like 12-Step Woman had put the word question there first. That helps out a lot. From 12-Step Woman, it says, does it work if we sign the petition every day? Well, it would be nice if that's possible. I do know that the petition, it works with just the email. So, with how many emails you have, you can do it multiple times, and that's just it. Because do know once you use your email once, you can't use it twice. Each email represents a person. So I do encourage, if you have several email addresses, if you can use those. So, and if you already signed, thank you so much. I know you probably want to sign even more. I really appreciate that. You can also ask other people, just say, hey, look, I got this petition. I'm just going to need you guys to sign it. Tell them what it's about. They just need to go on there and sign the petition. No matter. So, whether they want to follow what's going on or not, you can get them to sign that petition. I really appreciate it. So we get those numbers, and I'm still working on those numbers. I'm still working on a lot of other things in the background. Like I said before, we have to get these forensics done on the vehicle and all those stuff. The phone is taken care of. So we're doing one thing at a time. Start the phone first, and then we're going down the line of everything that's needed done as the funds come in for me to be able to do so. So it's very expensive, and I'm doing everything we can to get those get everything done. So the petition is really good because that's going to go along with everything that happened. With everything that happened, it's going to go good with turning that stuff into Attorney General office and things like that. So thank you again, Gwen, for putting that information up. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm doing the Q&A this morning. If you guys have any questions, please put it down on the comment section there, and I'll go down and put the word question first, and then with your comment or your question, or put a letter Q and then your question, and that helped me out when I'm going down the feed that I can actually see. So thank you so much. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate it if you guys can do that for me to help the algorithm get this channel out there. So, all right, I do have another question here. Is there any updates from this weekend? Yes. Well, of course, it's going to be, we'll have, again, this is not stopping the searches. This desert search with desert specialized operations will be going on again as usual, 7:45 a.m. We have that out there for people who want to do line searches out there. We will also have that. We have the if you have like UTV, ATV type vehicles, you have drones, wherever you can to help us cover some of these grounds that we need to still cover out there in the desert. Yes, and please come out that morning to help. I really can appreciate it. Our numbers have started getting kind of low. I need all the numbers I can get out there also. At this point, I'm not looking for my son walking around the desert undressed. As this department see all his clothes there on the scene, on the ground, everything he's wearing. Some people suggest, hey, maybe he had to change your clothes, but I can't see him. When you change your clothes, you generally don't take off your underwear and your socks. You probably change your clothing, but your underwear and socks usually stay on, unless they got soaked or something. I don't know. But we still don't have no evidence that he had changed clothes. But since we don't have anything like that, the suggestion is that everything on his body was on the ground, which it was. And at this point, it's not a rescue mission; it's actually recovery. So I'm definitely going to be doing that out there searching for my son. As you know, I searched 2 wells already. First of all, those wells should have been searched from day one. Here it is, almost 9 months later. I was able to get the proper equipment to go down in these wells. I asked the Buckeye Police Department to do it. They brought this finally after coming empty-handed before. They finally brought a camera down that only went to the surface of the water, and then they looked back up. That's not a proper search. As you seen yesterday, if you guys is coming on the feed, that well go down. One of the wells itself went down almost 1,000 feet. It's like 800 some feet after you hit the surface of the water. That water is very deep down there. Things settle, and at the end, y'all had the bad feed also yesterday. I was kind of show y'all a little area, something that was down, settled on the bottom. It looked like a top of a skull or something, and I'm going to have that analyzed by a professional, that footage, and see if we can determine what that is in the bottom of that well. Also, the other one, the well that actually my son was actually last seen at, we searched that one also, and that one came up empty-handed. I didn't find anything down the bottom of that. Also, there's some more wells that we thought was wells. Actually, it's going to be checked sometime this week, hopefully today. We go out there and find out those are mines. So working on that part to get those things done. So yeah, we'll have to have the searches going to be continue on for that morning, then Saturday morning, and then after Saturday morning, of course, we have the candlelight visual on at 6:30. But for those who like to do out the pass out the flyers and things like that, can help with the city distribution. Yes, I will be having that also, but it's going to be directed to the candlelight visual. So instead of being at 3:15, it's going to be at 6:15 before the candlelight visual, 15 minutes before the candlelight visual. If you guys want to come out and pass out flyers out there, I would appreciate it. I'll be bringing all the flyers there for people who want to give a hand or pass out flyers, who also want to help pass out candles and things like that. So we need all the help we can for people who want to come out and help with those type deals. So that'll be part of the city distribution of flyers is at 6:15 Saturday. Out there at the same location where the candlelight visual would be. And also, like I said, 6:30, we had a candlelight visual. And I need those numbers. You guys can come out. I really appreciate it. Okay, I have another question here. Thank you, Vic, for the question. From Don. Thank you so much again for coming out from Facebook. You say what the petition is for. The petition is definitely for putting pressure on the Buckeye Police Department, and also to bring awareness to what's going on in this case. Definitely also when like I said before, when I turn in all the evidence that I do have, there's a lot of evidence I have, a lot of things I have, but I had to tie it in with the forensics. Once I get that, you guys are standing behind me. I probably need to update, check the updates on the petition. It started off with just the trying to put pressure on that department. It has now grown tremendously into the facts of having you guys stand behind me. You guys are there from day one. That's what people signing for. Trying to help in everywhere they can, get this department to do what they need to do, any department. And so to have the forensics work and also everything that I have evidence-wise put together in the packet, along with you guys pushing to have something done, that's what the petition is for. And I need as many people I can to you speak. The power's in the people, and that's what the petition is for. Power's in the people. I need your voice. A lot of people have interest in this case, and the way you show your voice when I turn these things in is your name to be on that petition. So I really appreciate it, guys, when you do that. Also, thank you, Nunu, for putting us up. Oh, thank you, Don. Also, thanks for being here again for Facebook, and thank you for your question. And also, thank you so much for putting that tip line up. Yes, for the tip line, if you see something, say something. You hear something, say something. So if you remember something, that's the whole point of sharing everything here. Because somebody hears something, they may say, hey, you know what, I remember something that day, and they might now live in North Carolina or something, or they live somewhere else. So we get the word out. It'll probably jog back somebody's memory, and they have seen something that day, heard something, or something that stands out, or whatever the case may be, and they can give the tip. So definitely for that. You see the Don's tip line number on the bottom of the screen. You see it right here behind me on the right here behind me on the board. Use that number. Use that number if you remember anything. Anything that's significant that would bring my son home. It's not used. The tip line is not used for comments, as in to give me a suggestion of where I should look and things like that. But definitely, if you have any tip that would bring my son home, use that as operators 24 hours, 7 days a week. That would take your calls, and they're always there. If you want to stay anonymous, you can stay anonymous. If you don't mind not being anonymous, you can do that too. But like I said, 24 hours, 7 days a week. You don't want to talk to anybody, you can simply text the word tip to that number, and the form will come up. You can still stay anonymous. So please utilize that. if you have anything significant that would bring my son back home, because it's like I said, been 9 months, and it's about time somebody say something. Somebody knows something. Somebody should step up and say something. You know, I can see a person being able to see a family in need and don't say anything. So I encourage you to do something and help me and my family out by saying something. Also, if you just want to leave a comment, like I said, something to suggest a better way of searching, or you're a nonprofit organization, anything like that, you can use the number below, how you can contact me directly. That is my public cell phone number. You can use that. I really appreciate it if you do that. If you want to stay anonymous with that, only suggestion I can give you is use a burner phone. Other than that, I can't guarantee you being anonymous through my cell phone. So that's what the tip line is for. And I really appreciate it, guys, if you utilize that, if you have anything. So everything else you find on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Please use that, and I really appreciate it. It's change.org, and I really appreciate you putting that up for me here. Stacey, thank you so much for putting that. That's the change.org. That's the tip. So if you guys want to go on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit that tip, hit the petition. You can actually do the petition there. That's for the petition there she put up, and I really appreciate that for doing that. Okay, now my name is David Robinson, father geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm coming to do a Q&A this morning for you guys who have questions. If you have questions, please use the letter Q, or put the word question there first, and then ask your question. That way I can come down the chat and I can actually see your question. So thank you so much. I'd like to hear from Sarah. Thank you for putting the Q there first. Thank you for your question. Mr. Robinson, I'm wondering if you received my text about flyers. No rush at all. I'm just not sure I text the right number. Yes, I have, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, if not, I apologize. I don't know exactly which text would be yours, but I had several texts asking for flyers too. I sent some flyers out to Brooklyn, New York, and I sent some to Colorado. So if you're one of those, then it's on the way. If not, I'll check those text messages today, and we'll talk about how I can have them sent to you. If you want to send them to a P.O. box, or your address, whatever address you have, I can send them out to you, because, like I said, I'm trying to get all the flyers I can. Somebody who's been here that day, my son was missing, and may have seen something, heard something, may live in New York now, may live in Colorado or wherever, and that's very important. So if you guys can, if you guys want to help any kind of way, you also can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and go on under the tab of other ways you can help, other ways you can volunteer tab at the top, and that will help also for you guys that help also. So thank you so much for that. Again, my name is David Robinson, father geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm doing a Q&A for all your questions that you may have. Okay, thank you again, Vic, for coming out again on YouTube. And you have a question: are there any mines in the area? There's a lot of mines in the area. Matter of fact, Arizona has one of the highest numbers of mines in the country. There's thousands of them out there in Arizona, but in the area, general area, my son went missing. There's a few. There's some that's unmarked. They call it prospect mines, and there's many of those out there. Found some vertical mines. Matter of fact, like I told you, the two I thought was whales all this time were actually mines. So they're vertical mines, and there's a lot of vertical ones, and the vertical ones are very dangerous. If you don't be careful, you can drive into them. You don't want to fall into one. They go thousands of feet down in the ground, and like I said, some are filled with water after this time, and that water probably go deep as the well that you've seen on the footage I put up here yesterday. Go very deep, and so. Yeah, gotta be careful. So there's many out there, and that's the ones we're getting checked. The ones in the general area. The best I can do is those. We have some on the White Tank Mountain side of Sun Valley Parkway, and then we have a few now two that I know of now right here in the very close to where his vehicle was recovered, and also where he's last seen, Daniel's last seen, and then there's some out west, two out west that I'm aware of. So I'm sure there's many more. We just haven't run into them yet. Like it's telling you guys. That area out there is big, saying? After 8 months, going 9 months, we still foot searching, saying? We can easily go over that area over air, just flying over the air with the drones and things like that. But to actually not do that a lot, I utilize my drone to go out and kind of canvas the area where we're going to be searching next. and areas that we haven't hit yet. And it's just taking a while. So when you're doing foot searches, we're looking for bones, we're looking for remains. So you have to be on the ground looking for those things. You can't necessarily be in the air unless you have specialized drones and things like that we just don't have. Buckeye Police Department have them. Some of these other agencies have, the FBI have them. We just have to do it the way we can, and that's on the ground. And I really appreciate you guys when you come out to help with the searches. So thank you so much. Also, I have Mochi Bear. Thank you again for coming out here off of YouTube with your question. Are you able to share why you believe foul play criminal act may be involved? I understand it may not be possible to share information. Continues your prayer. Thank you so much for your question. That really helps a lot. First of all, I look at this. The first thing I have when I first found out my son was missing, what made me say foul play is my son would not go hours without telling his siblings, me, his family, his mother, any of us, what his plans are. The second thing is my son is smart. He's a very intelligent guy. If he decided he didn't want to be a part of life or didn't probably want to be at that job, he would have went to the first well site. He would have went to the first well site, and he surely wouldn't have been going to the second well site. He wouldn't have came to work at all. So that story bogus about that he just wanted to go home and all that stuff. One thing I do know, my son was working that night before. So if the Buckeye Police Department would have did a little bit of work, they would have found out that he was working. I found that out. I'm doing more investigating than they doing. So my son's working very hard that night, and he's tired. Yeah, of course he was tired. So the statement was that my son was tired. If that's true, that would be the reason why. So the other part is, like I said, he wouldn't have came to the job site at all. He went to one, more or less, go to a second one. He just wouldn't have came to work at all if he decided to do this somehow, do this to himself and plan this out really well and take his clothes off and just leave life. Some reason, like they saying he left probably to get away from us as a family to join a monastery, become a monk or something. He wouldn't go through all that just to do so. My son would have came to me and said, my son and I talk about everything. We talk for 2 hours every time. And when I talk to Daniel, I would sometimes I had to tell him that I call him back if I'm in the middle of something, because I know our conversation is going to be at least 2 hours long. And so we talk about everything. That's the way our family is. And he talked to his siblings. I don't know the length of time he talked to his siblings, but I know he talked to them. And so when I say 2 hours, I'm going to talk about me and his experience. So, but he talked to all of us and tell us what he's doing. That's one thing. Like I said, the second thing is the scene. My son has been missing almost 30 days. His vehicle was driving out in that desert for 30 days without gassing up, and then he finally crashed on this thing because the rancher said he wasn't there. When he was missing like that, that's foul play to me. My son would have contacted us. His phone was ringing. His phone was ringing almost a whole full day before it finally started going straight to voicemail. He would answer his phone. And then when the vehicle showed up here on the scene, just magically appeared there. I see this. If you look at this, my son's clothing on the ground. Everything's going to look staged to me. You take that glass that's coming out the windshield, off the driver's side door. That's the only glass that busted out, by the way. I want you all guys to understand from everything I know about this vehicle, there's no glass in the sunroof. That's a different kind of vehicle. It just pops out, the panel pops out. And no glass, but there's no glass inside the vehicle. No glass inside the vehicle. There's glass on the ground though, and it was when you go to the scene at the beginning. It don't look like that now. When I first saw that, see the glass very much intact on the ground, like somebody took the glass, set it there, and kind of cracked it all up. But instead, it's not scattered all over the place and things like that. So you kind of look at that type stuff and use common sense. It don't take a rocket scientist to look at certain things that happen on the scene and infer that something nefarious had happened. So that's one of the reasons. And then with everything else, like you said, I can't talk about that I do know about this case, that I'm really trying out really hard, you guys. If I can get this forensic work completed, that'll tie into everything that I do know. It's kind of hard knowing some things here and sit here and talk out in public and not be able to share, especially with my position as a father. But you know what? I definitely had to keep it that way. And I can't tell you whenever the forensic work get done, then those type things can be revealed. So, but I know it's foul play, some type of foul play. I know people are heavily involved with what happened to my son, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So thank you. That's the reason why I feel personally there's foul play and a criminal act. And we will have those answers out there one day soon. So thank you so much for your question, and thank you for being here, Moochie Bear. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gwen, again, for putting that up. Yes, if you guys come out this weekend, we have a queue up having the candlelight visual this weekend on 12th at the Capitol Center Museum here in the Buckeye, up here in Phoenix, Arizona, 1700 West Washington Street at 6:30. Everything you find, like she have on here, can be found on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a question from, let's see, make sure I'm missing anybody. I see you say I have one you need from Sarah Moore. I don't see if I missed that at all. And if I miss your question, please forgive me. I'm going down. Like I said, if you guys could put, hold on a second here. Okay, I did already have your question there, Sarah. Thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it. If you guys have more questions, please put the word question there first, followed by your question. That way it can help me when I go down the comment section and see your question. Okay, here we go. Question from Nikki Nicole. Thank you so much for coming in from Facebook. I really appreciate you taking the time out here this morning to do my Q&A. Why didn't the police question Daniel's coworker Moore, who claimed that he went looking for Daniel and painted mark and footsteps or rocks near the footsteps red? He stated that he did that because he knew the case was going to be big and a lot of media and police would be coming. How did he know How did he know that at that time? It was too early in the investigation to be assuming the worst, but he sounded so sure that he wasn't going to be found. That's the same coworker who last saw Daniel, and you're correct. And that's the same question I've been asking the Buckeye Police Department to look into. And I had two witnesses there that morning when this man told me that not only did he said all of that, he literally said also that he stayed to the left of the tracks, say, hey, I decided to go out and look for Daniel. I heard two different things. One was saying that he suggested that he told me two different stories because he had in the report two different ways from two different officers. He said one occasion he didn't think that Daniel was missing until the coworkers called, and that's when he went to go look for Daniel. The second thing he said was he wondered why Daniel didn't come see if Daniel was going to come back, and he went to go looking on his own. So one thing that was a question to me, if you're going to ask, one thing I can tell you guys, if you're going to say, hey, I'm looking for Daniel, I wonder what happened to him, you could have simply called. Didn't you just talk to him when he called you and said he's on the way to work or whatever, how you going to meet him, or you come out to the road to meet him? Oh, yeah, I seen the phone calls on the call log. They communicated on the time that my son's supposed to be coming up there. And then after that, if you was really looking for my son, why you go looking on foot and doing all this driving and don't doing the phone call to say, hey, I'm looking for you or something like that? Why are you not coming back to the job site? But you said that you left out there, you went out to the road, and I'm gonna tell you one thing that puzzles me about all this track stuff, even with Buckeye Police Department, when they claimed they didn't see any footprints out there on the scene with his vehicle, and they see no tracks that led to where the vehicle got there to park. They have the dogs or whatever the case may be. And I know now a little bit more about dogs. For instance, they can track things for months. Also, the cadaver dogs can do things like that for a longer time. So, if somebody was passed away, deceased. Other thing is these tracks that's right here in the scene back here. This is months ago today. If I go up there today, and I go up there every week, you guys know I'm always out there in the desert. Those tracks are still there. We had the monsoon season with the rain running really hard. That day when my son went missing, to that time my son went missing to that date, this vehicle was here. It only rained once here in Arizona, and according to the rancher, that day out there in Buckeye, it only rained less than 5 minutes. The day that Daniel was up there on the 23rd. So in less than 5 minutes, it wasn't enough significant rain to do anything. It was significant rain to wash away tracks or to create tracks. I can't tell you, if I was to do a whole episode about just the tracks itself, then you guys will understand how it's kind of nearly impossible to sit there and track tracks on the ground. But anyway, this man said, yes, he was following his vehicle, and he noticed when he got to the T-junction, the vehicle went to the right, towards out there west, out there towards the remote area of the desert. instead of going left, would go back to Sun Valley Parkway. Now he said he followed those tracks. He stayed left of those tracks, so he didn't disturb them, because he knew the police was going to come and looking, and this thing's going to go big and all that stuff, and it's become national attention, this, that, blah, blah, blah. He said all those things to me, and my witnesses. So he did say those things. He told about, like you said, the red paint, and he went through this gate, and which I know what that gate is now. He had to go through a gate to get to where this vehicle was last rested. You do have to go through a gate. You have to go through the gate first, and then you have to go at least another mile and a half, a little over a mile and a quarter probably, to where this vehicle was rested. And he said he went up on a hill. The ironic part of that, there is a hill that you have to go up over just to get to this the scene here. It's a very high hill, and you have to go. He said I went to this high hill, and I looked over to see if I could see him out in the distance. I couldn't do that. I got back in my car, and then I started painting these rocks red, or this red, using my paint to paint these rocks red to so to also know where to follow these tracks, different things like that. So yeah, he did explain those things to me. And when he was telling me this, it was weird to me because he started off with the same exact story that I heard in the report that the police officers told me. And then when I guess he thought I was being friendly to him, because I said, hey man, I kept saying, man, it's not your fault. Just go ahead, blah, blah. It's a tactic that we learn, some of my military experience. But, this man started sharing things. I don't know if he got guilty or what the case may be, but he started, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's guilty by any stretch. I'm just putting my opinions about this whole thing, what I heard, what he told me personally, and my opinions about it. So, whatever was said that day, he just putting it out there. I did tell the Buckeye Police Department, Detective Biffin, about it, and all things. Oh, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. I have witness here, and then that was the end of it. Like I said, that department chooses to put whatever they want to in their report. They retain whatever they want to. They keep that narrative going. That they say, hey, I feel like your son wanted to be away from you guys and join the monastery, become a monk. And to date, that's what that theory they got going. They even went so far as hired a private investigator of their own. I already had an estimate reconstruction who found all this evidence. They didn't like the evidence that was found, so they went to go get their own guy to say something different. That, yeah, my son did this, jump out there and took his clothes off or whatever. They even went to Jeep, a dealership. Now, they didn't go to the company Jeep, so don't get confused when you see that in the report. Like they went to the manufacturers and people who actually made Jeep. No, they went to some coworkers at some dealership here in Phoenix or Arizona somewhere, and asked some guy at the dealership and called him an expert and said, this is busted their theory about the mileage on the vehicle and things like that. So just to keep that story going, so then just from a investigator they hired, they have never physically touched my son's vehicle. And I want y'all to know that too. So when you read that in the report, this man had never even seen this vehicle. He never even touched the clothing, never touched the vehicle itself, never even personally been near it. They even asked me to this day to even look at the vehicle, but they put that in the report. Think about that now. Just like they allowed some girl to send her text messages up into their report. She did it herself, and they put it in their report. So what is going on with that? So you guys got to look at how things are going, and those are questions. Thank you for your question, Nikki. And those are kind of things that I do ask that department. And it doesn't make sense, but that's part of my investigation, and all that is coming out too about all that. So thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate you for being here this morning. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June the 23rd in Buckeye, Arizona. I've been here since June 26th searching for my son. I have a Q&A this morning for you guys. If you have any questions, please use the word question first, followed by your question. So I can see it down the comment section, or use the letter Q, followed by your question. You can put your question after that, so I can, like I say, see it as I'm going down the comment section, because I can easily skip it by accident. And if I do, please ask it again. My apologies, and I will try to get to it. Also, don't forget about the candlelight visual. If you guys can join in on the candlelight visual, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you New, for what you're doing. Both of you and Gwen, y'all being in the background on this, doing the administrator and helping in the chats. I really appreciate it. This is a question from Lawrence from YouTube. What ratio of the found animal bones versus entire bone of animals are noticed? All of them holds holes out there. If I understand your question correctly, Lawrence, thank you first of all for being here from the YouTube sphere. If I understand your question correctly, we have found a lot of bones out there. Of course, there's a lot of animal bones out there. This is desert. You have mountain lions out there. You have coyotes. You have, all kinds of other animals. Some things we see sometimes we don't know what they are. Little small critters, but there's a lot of animals out there eating each other. So it's a desert, so things happen. We do see a lot of animal bones out there. You got cattle out there, a lot of dead cattle. I'm sure a mountain lion get hooked to one of those. So so we see a lot of those, and a lot of times we definitely wouldn't know the difference between difference between the animal bones versus the human bones if we didn't have anybody out there to who can recognize those things. We do have volunteers that come out a lot who retired or current people who have experience in pathology or to be able to identify certain things. But in every sense, when we do find these remains, we do send them up to the Buckeye Police Department. That comes out through, no matter if the animal or not. We're not sure. We send all of those bones up. We have the volunteers. Hey, look, this is a bone. We can't tell if it's animal or human. We definitely would take pictures of it. I have my website set where once you send the pictures up, we have the system set up that way. A copy goes to the Buckeye Police Department, a copy goes to my investigator, and go to me. One comes to me. So we keep those on records and things like that. What we send now, if Buckeye ever come out and collect those, I don't know, because I can't tell you. There's a lot of times we send things up there and we go back over that area again. Those items a week later or so, those items are still there. I have seen only witness Buckeye to come up once to pick up anything that we found. They'll come up on their they came I think on the news or something to say, well, everything that Mr. Robinson, I take it personally because it's my searches, that was all animal bones. And then they say except for the skull, they couldn't deny the skull because the skull is a skull. Human skull is a skull. They since tried to take credit of that skull. I had to go back to Maricopa County examiner's office and tell them, hey, y'all putting up false reports. They apologized to me, changed the report to reflect that it came from our searches, the discovery, and also the other bones that what they was claiming is animal bones were really human bones. And to bolster that, Lawrence, is that the recent bones that was found, like they did before, they want to call it animal bones for a reason. My opinion is to, can you imagine they trying to put a development out there and we keep finding these human remains? Who would want to live out there with all these human remains being found out there? We found a lot of bones. And this one particular time, we put it up like we normally do to the website. They came back 10 minutes and say, oh, they all animal bones. That made me upset because I remember, like I said, they keep trying to call things animal bones. We know they're human. And sent it to the Maricopa office or whatever, medical examiner office, and it came back 3 hours later, all human bones. And for the first time since I've been doing this for months, it's the first time I've seen that department come out because they had to, because it came out through from Maricopa County. They had to come out and make it a crime scene, and they finally collected those bones. To this date, I don't know what they did with those bones. I know they told me less than 40 minutes it wasn't Daniel before I can make it back there, back to Phoenix. But at the same time, the same breath, they said they don't know who it belongs to because they haven't in the forensics up. They haven't taken in forensic samples from me or my family. So they saying they can tell it's not Daniel because it's not a black man's bone, which I still have questions about things like that, which I'm grateful. I don't want to be my son, but I have questions about those type things when they can say that definitively just by looking at a bone or something like that. And I don't know anything about pathology, so maybe there is a way. I thought we was all human, but maybe I'm wrong. Thank you so much for your question, Lawrence. I hope I answered your question that you needed, but the ratio, I would say we'll find more animal bones than we find human bones, of course. You're going to find a lot of animals out there, but we do find human bones too, whether they are of, I like to say, like, if I find 3 femurs, right? We look at these, we find 3 femurs, we know there's at least 2 people. You get what I'm saying? Because every human don't have 2. So we're not going to find multiple person have 3 legs or something, 3 leg bones or something like that, so that's how we can tell. We count the numbers based on that, things like that. So again, My name is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. Doing the Q&A. If you could hit the like, share, and subscribe button, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shauna, for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing on your social media, spread awareness. If you have, yes, thank you. If you have a LinkedIn account and willing to please share there as well. Thank you. Yes, of course. And thank you so much for pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to pass, do this everywhere we can, every place we can, and every way we can, bring awareness in every point. So you guys are key to that. Thank you, Mr. Q, for being here, joining in. Thank you for all the hard work that you're doing in the background. Also, thank you. I really appreciate that for everything. Thank you so much. And here's a question again from Lois. I keep saying your name wrong every morning. I know you're supposed to say, why this man can't get my name right? Lois, thanks so much for coming in off of YouTube, off of Yahoo, YouTube. And how do I get flyers to pass out in Charlotte, North Carolina? Okay, again, if you want to do that, please, hit me up on my personal, my public cell phone. It's right there on displayed on the bottom there, Louise. If you put that on there, go to there and text me or call me. I'll get to your text as soon as I can, as fast as I can. I have a whole line of them, and I'll get to it. And if you can give me your address you want them sent to, I can send some flyers to you so you can pass out. And I really appreciate it. And also, I'm going to try to provide from suggestion a template, put everything there so you guys can actually. Some people say, hey, I can just make the flyers myself. One thing I do ask you guys, if you do that when I put it up, to make it exactly the way that I have them. And I'll have some copy examples here. This is the flyers here. It'd be like this here, almost kind of mimic what I have back there. They'd be on cards, and these cards are small. If you look at my hand, they're not really big at all. They're actually small. And the reason why it's designed, it also has on the back for the tip line. I'm gonna raise that tip really soon. The reward, but all of that is designed for a reason. Need to be the same exact way. The durability of the paper itself is not really flimsy. It's flimsy, but not really flimsy, like floppy flimsy. And the reason why, because a lot of people like to tack them onto poles, especially in North Carolina. You have telephone poles. Some people like to put them on the poles and things like that. So durability, and there's a lot of rain in your state in North Carolina. I know because I'm from South Carolina. I know how we get the rain and things like that over there. And if you're in Charlotte, you get snow, so you get it more than we do in Columbia. So so you had to have that durability. The size matter on that because people like to put them in their pocketbook or their pockets or carry it around and things like that. So it'd be easier than to have a big sheet of paper, notebook paper or something like that, and typing paper, and have them printed out that way. That kind of defeat the purpose. And then I want the information. All the information need to be there. You have the everything you need on there. Trying to hold up right. You have the website. We have the Twitter, the Instagram. All the ways, the tip line, things like that on the form on it itself. They help out for people who's trying to find ways to help. So thank you so much. I definitely will send them out to you. And just give me your address you'd like to send. We'll talk about that on the number that you see below the screen there. I really appreciate it if you do that. I'll say thank you again, everybody, for your questions. I have one here from on Facebook again. Don, thank you so much for being here this morning. Is anybody using drones to find Daniel? We use the best we can. We use drones that I finally was able to get a drone. My search coordinator / logistic coordinator, he have drones. So we did get a couple of drones for this effort, and I'm able to utilize those, like I say, to canvass the area, kind of go out before. Sometimes we do line searches. I like to send the drones ahead of us to see what's ahead of us, so we don't go into hidden dangers. Also to canvass the area, to kind of get an idea later, an area that we need to search later, or sometimes you can even go back on the footage and kind of zoom in the spots that we could have possibly missed, things like that. So the drones are very important, but we just don't have the capability of the drones that I really need. They're very expensive. Like I told you guys donate and help out this whole cause, and it takes a lot of money. We spend over $5,000 sometimes a week for searches. So I cut it down now, streamline it now, so I can spend less, so I can save money for this forensic stuff. So, you guys, drones, the ones that I really need is expensive, and I'm not willing, ready, or able to yet to purchase those with the funding that I need to keep this operation going. So, kind of depending on people, like I said, that would bring drones out, who possibly will have those drones and those certain kind of capabilities. I did reach out to nonprofits that say they had those. Told me how well that would help in my situation. That was referred to me by Equifax. Equifax couldn't EquiSearch. I'm sorry, couldn't help with the but my son's case. They said it didn't fit their description, but they did refer me to this other nonprofit who said it was going to come out to help when Buckeye was out there. They needed a referral, and they have since not come out. Of course, they had some issues with their staffing, but they did have equipment. So I'm really welcome anybody who want to help with those type drones. We definitely need those. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I do see a question mark. If you guys put the word question there, followed by your question, that'll help. Now, I just happen to see the question mark. Thank you for putting the question mark there, Julia. It was hard for me to see it. I almost could have skipped over, and I apologize. So I'm really grateful that I was able to catch that. But say, regarding the human remains that have been found, have they been identified? And do you know if their identities have been publicized? Thanks. Now, as in the human remains, once we send those things up to Buckeye, like I said, I have never really seen them come pick up anything. So I'm assuming that they went and grabbed those remains, and I hope so, because what'll hurt me the most if I found out they did it, because those are human beings, and those are people's family members, and I know how my family feel not knowing my son is. And I can imagine these people, some of these bones look very old. They look like they've been out there for a couple of years or something. And, that means these people's on the ground for a long time. Had I listened to Buckeye at that time when they said, hey, that's all animal bones, and we just would have walked away, who knows, this person would have been laying on that ground for years. And so that's what happened to these people. And like I said, once these things get turned over to Buckeye, even that one, they don't tell me anything. Only way I got lucky about the skull that we found is because I so happened to be talking to that family member before right when the skull was found. The family member reached out to me from Florida, and she and I talked a lot about her case and her brother and things like that. To turn out, once one of the local news reporters here did a story, she texted me and said, "Hey, I'm about to do the story about that skull that you found. The searchers found. We found in my searches." And she did the story, and the story was about some forensic type sketching. They sketched this person's face out based on the skull. And I was able to later, because of this family, the lady was asking me, we having a discussion, and I featured her on some of my some things I was doing publicly, like my family press conference, or whatever. I was able to give her a picture of that. And she took like 3 days and came back and told me, yeah, that's her brother. So that brings some closure. At least I know about that one. But the rest of them, I do not know what Buckeye Police Department has done with those remains, or if they even collect them at all. So we pretty much can be going over the same remains and end up finding them. Who knows, over and over again, if they never do come and take it seriously and pick those things up. So I don't know. I don't have any confidence in that department because, hey, they're not being serious about my son's case. So I don't really know what that department would and wouldn't do. So I hope they did get those people off the ground and bring them home to their family. So, and thank you again, Julie, for your questions. Thank you for coming in from YouTube. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm doing a Q&A. You guys have questions, put the word question there first, followed by your question, and then with your question, and then I can go down to the comment section. I can find it, and I will answer your question. I'm doing this for awareness, to give you guys awareness of what's going on in this case, and also answer the question you may have, because there's a lot of things out there that's not accurate. And so we try to square those up. If I don't know the answer to those, I will tell you. If it's anything that's hurting my investigation or anything like that, I will tell you that too. So thank you. We have a question from Mr. Q, John Q. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, thank you for all your help and everything you do. Has the rancher had any contact with you after he had found Daniel's Jeep in the desert? If so, did he offer anything to help you find Daniel? Now, on time I spoke with that rancher, and I'm glad you asked that question. Thanks for the question. Only time I heard from that rancher, the first time I even knew about the rancher was, of course, from the report. from the police officer when the vehicle was found. They told me they waited. Now think about it, they waited almost 24 hours, over 24 hours actually, to contact me that this vehicle was found. Right. The next day, it was found on the 19th. They contacted me on the 20th, and so the first time I even heard about the rancher was that day. You know, when I went out to the police department to have that briefing with Detective Biffin, he told me about this rancher found your son's vehicle. That's when the first time I heard that rancher's name. Now, fast forward, that didn't stop there. Mind you, before the vehicle was found, I was already doing searches out there every week, you know, even on the weekdays, looking for my son, right? So we had a search already scheduled that Saturday after this vehicle was found on the 19th. That Saturday, the first thing happened that Saturday, which was odd to this day, it's still odd to me. Two people showed up to that search. That was Chief Hall, Chief of Police, and also the rancher. And the way that happened was my then search coordinator, he was running late. I was trying to figure this out. Why he never was really late, but he's running late this morning. He have a white vehicle. I saw him coming off from a distance, was down in the corner area. I was trying to get the searches going, and he showed up, and I saw a vehicle kind of matching his behind him. I said, who is that vehicle matching my search coordinator at the time vehicle? Because both of the cars, police vehicles, right? They come rolling in. Lo and behold, I didn't know who Chief Hall was at the time. He explains who he was. I'm Chief Hall, Larry Hall. He came out there to the searches. He didn't speak to me directly. I had my daughter on the ground, my family. Now think about this. Their department had never took us to the scene, never to this date, until that date, until he came down to that search. He yelled out, he started grandstanding. He said, "Hey, you guys want to know where this vehicle was found?" Yeah, I want to know where the vehicle was found. You know, I'm the father. I've been out here searching for my son. Come follow me. Come on, follow me, y'all. And we all walking with the volunteers. And my daughter feeling a certain way. Okay. And I'll tell her like, that's weird. He willing to show everybody else now. We could go on there, and he is the chief of police, showing me for the first time where the vehicle was found. You know, so we walked into the location, and he pointed out this area down this ravine. He said, "That's where your son's vehicle was found." And so the volunteers looking, we all looking, but I was looking at that area. I'm saying, that don't look like the picture. That one picture they gave me, they don't give me one picture. They don't look like the picture, because one thing that's significant in this picture, if y'all guys remember, is a little brown stump that's sitting in the background. And that's an old cactus that was probably struck by lightning, according to the rancher, that caught on fire before and it burnt down. Now, I didn't see that, but I said, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'll try to go by memory. He was pointing, and then he started grandstanding about how the cartels is bad out there in that area, and I don't know if that's a setup to a story, but he was just talking about this cartel stuff, and they landed planes on Sun Valley Parkway, drop their drugs at night and take off, and some stuff like that. While he was doing that, my daughter had ran to the rancher. I guess he must have showed up, him and his wife. My daughter came up and said, "Hey, Dad, this man want to speak to you." I went over there. He said, "Hey, my name is Brandon." And he explained to his wife, and he said, "I'm the one that found your son's vehicle." And he said, "I don't know why Chief Hall up there saying that's where it's at. It's right here." He pointed it out. And the way that we knew exactly, because I saw the stump for one thing and the glass was on the ground. That made a whole lot of sense. He said, "I'm the one found it. This is where it is, blah, blah, blah. And this is what, Hassan." He started telling me a little bit things that what he thought about that. And after he did that, Chief Hall kind of got quiet. He just walked past. Chief Hall started walking past and left. I mean, he just left. He just went back to where the quarry is. We all still standing out there, and he just left the scene. I haven't heard from Chief Hall. He had never been out there since. To this date, haven't been out there any of my searches or anything like that. Also, the rancher have never been out there again after that date. So both of them just happened to show up at the same time with this whole narrative about my son's vehicle here at the scene. And that's the last time. Now, the next time I spoke to the rancher was at the, he called me, got in contact with me through a local channel back in South Carolina. Of course, I've been doing interviews. The anchor called me. She's like, "Hey, look, Mr. Robinson, this rancher that found your son's vehicle is looking for you. He's getting in contact with you. He called us. I don't know if I can give him your phone number." I said, "Yeah, sure." Gave him a phone number. We set up a time, the date. He said he was adamant to give me pictures. I was excited about that because I had only one picture of the scene. That's all Buckeye gave me at the time, which was very disrespectful. And they gave me one picture to go by, and that's the one I released to the public. And so when I heard I had more pictures, and he said, "Yeah, I want to give it to you now because your son's job keep calling me. Say me and my wife can't even have how to eat dinner because they keep calling me, asking me for these pictures." And I say, "I want you to have them. I don't want your son's job to have it. I want you to have it." So of course, I set it up for him to come. My private investigator at the time just happened to wanting to meet with me, and I told him, "Hey, I got the rancher coming up." He said he wanted to come to the hotel. He wanted to discuss this with us. And lo and behold, so we had a recorded conversation. And also he gave me all the details that would need to be done that day. So I can go in there, but this part of some investigative stuff. So I will not go into details what he said, but I do know a lot. I do know that according to his testimony, the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior to where it was found and things like that. So those things didn't make a report. Buckeye know what this rancher is saying, and that's not in the report because that don't bolster their theory that they want to stick, that my son somehow would come back and grab his things, nothing happened, he did it to himself, whatever the case may be. I don't know what it's saying, but that's my opinion. So thank you so for the question, Mr. Q. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson. If you have a question, put the word question there first, followed by your question. That way I can go down timeline, or letter Q. Like Sarah just did. Thank you, Sarah, for your question. That way I can go down time comment section and I can get your question. From Sarah Moore from YouTube, Mr. Robinson, how can my voice be most helpful to this case? I pressured the Buckeye Police Department, the city itself, and I've shared Dan's story. You to continue to do so. That's really makes me smile. I really appreciate that, Sarah, for your hard work. And like I say, we all family. This is a family affair. And I really appreciate you guys for being a part of that. I can't do this by myself. I would try. As a father, I would try to do it all by myself. If I can run it all by myself, I would do it. But it takes a village. It takes a whole bunch of people. And you guys doing exactly what you're doing, Sarah. Also, please, you guys, if y'all want to help and you just can't be here, you helping like Sarah doing in those ways, continue to do so. However, you can also go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And you can join in on other ways you can help. The button is a tab on the top, and there's other ways you can help. You can go ahead and fill that form out on there and go through that session that can help us, kind of fit people in where you can help based on your skill sets. Because as you know, I'm still trying to build a foundation, the Daniel Robinson Foundation, and so build that up, getting this thing together. So I would definitely need some people with skill sets and things like that, and how you can help in other ways. Because I'm just not out in the desert walking the ground, which I am doing. Not just passing out these flyers, but there's a lot of other things that are going in the background. There's a whole lot of moving parts, and it takes a whole lot. It's a whole lot of everything. I need people with certain skills and things like that, from paralegals to whatever, who are on the volunteer time, from people who have investigative experience or whatever. Your nonprofit, whatever. So whatever the skill sets are, please go on that website and fill that form out, and that help us narrow down how you can help in other ways. So thank you so much for looking at that. I will next time I put that on the bottom of the screen so people can actually go there and help. So there's other ways you can help. You can help with the volunteers and things like volunteer to help, but you can also volunteer in other ways. So go to that button on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And that will help you, Sarah. I really appreciate it. Help everybody else if they look for other ways to help. Thank you. My name is Dave Robinson again, father of geologist Daniel Robinson, that went missing on June the 23rd, 2021. Been here since June 26th. Looking for my sons. For those who just joined in, I'm doing a Q&A for everybody who have interest in this case. My son been missing for almost going on 9 months now. I have yet to get any departments, any serious departments, the FBI, even the Buckeye Police Department, who's in this, it happened in their jurisdiction, to take my son's case seriously. I would like to see the way I hate to keep bringing up this case, but they always pin that up against my son's case, but the Petito case, I'd like to see them spend the amount of money I collected so far on GoFundMe. I'd like to see they did that in one day. They spend that kind of money in one day. I want to see them spend that kind of money on my son. He's important just as much. If they can go out there and look for a killer who killed somebody and spend that kind of money, they can do that for my son, easily. He's a geologist, he's a scientist, contributes to society. My son don't even so much have as a speeding ticket, So not saying you have to validate who he is. He's a great man. I already know that. Nobody had to validate all of that. But what I'm saying, the point I'm making is he's just as important as anybody else, you know. So I can't see why this department don't see that, why they don't think it's important to spend the revenue on my son. I don't see if they don't have the revenue and they can use their excuses all day. They can find money. I've seen them find money for to go get a private investigator that already had accident reconstruction just to bolster their opinions about what happened to my son, their theories. Instead of they could have took that same money and got me a drone to find out, that help us find that desert. So they can find money where they want to. They pull money out their behinds wherever they want to get it from to bolster whatever they want to do. But when it comes to finding a person whose life is at stake, my son's life is at stake. I don't know what's happening right now, and if he's not alive, they don't want to take the money to go find my son. So a lot of them guys claim they're military, and I know a few in that department, and they know we don't leave a fallen country. We don't leave nobody behind, but they're trying to leave my son behind, and I'm not going to let it happen. So thank you for your question, Sarah, for putting that pressure. Just keep putting the pressure on them. Call them, harass them, whatever. I mean, I ain't telling you to harass nobody. I take that back. But what I'm saying is call them and tell them your concerns, and and it's okay for that. So thanks so much for doing that. I have a question from Lakeisha. Thank you, Lakeisha, for being here. First of all, for all your hard work you do every weekend. We put out, I know how much flyers we put out there. I was really impressed the last weekend. We put out over 2,000 flyers out there, and that's amazing. And the crazy part is we only had on a few people. So we was able to put some amazing work in there, and you all was there every weekend. So I really appreciate that. The question is, was the communication with the worker on June 22nd or June 23rd? I'm assuming you're saying is Daniel's communication. Was there communication with Daniel? I believe you asked the question, or is the Buckeye? Well, it had to be Daniel because on 20 he didn't go missing until the 23rd. 22nd, I don't know. I would assume that I don't know if Daniel what he said with the coworker. That's the thing that I need to find out with this forensic work would tell. His work computer would tell the kind of conversation was going on that morning. Because another thing I keep putting out, you guys, in my investigation. No, they said they went to the coworker and say Daniel's at the odd, right? Oh, Daniel's at the odd, this, that, blah, blah. I had to remind you guys that when I talk to these, I have plenty of meetings. I had plenty of board meetings with his company, his job. So they expressed to me that my son rarely ever. They said they don't know when the last time they seen Daniel in the office. So I'm trying to figure out how they can, even when I think about that hindsight now, how they can make a pin say he was acting odd and strange and all this kind of stuff, right? When they personally told me that he barely come to the office. They don't know the last time they see Daniel. He don't come in the office. He's a field geologist. He don't come in the office only to drop off the samples that they collect from well sites and things like that. And in his vehicle to date, those samples last I seen was in the vehicle. So and I asked my investigator time. I hope it's still there because there'll be a problem if it's not, to not remove those samples out of that vehicle until this investigation was over. So that's my former investigator I'm talking about. So I don't know about the communication that was going on the day before and the day of. I do know those communications. There were several phone calls between his coworkers that morning. I have seen that on his call logs, and also, like I said, before that 9 o'clock time from the guy that last seen my son. So there was some comments and some phone calls, and really short phone calls, and back and forth. My son to them and them back and forth that morning. So that's about it. I can't say that. So as in everything else, I do not know. I'm really trying to understand your question, because I hope I got that right. So thanks so much for your question. I really appreciate it. Okay, I have one from DP. Thank you for putting the Q there, or putting the word question there for you before your question, so to help me see it. Okay. Did you ever find out what color vehicle that coworker was driving? Well, I don't know that if you said the coworker, the guy that last seen my son from Weber, it's a different company, but yeah, he was out there. He drives a white truck. I did see the utility truck. That's if he was using that same one. I don't know what we're doing on 23rd, but on the 26th or 27th around that time when I saw him for the first time and interviewed him myself, Yeah, he was driving a white utility truck, and the utility truck is the ones that have the little things that keep their tools and all that kind of stuff on the side door. So yeah, see, that's what he was driving, and that's it. So I don't know if that's what he's driving that day on 23rd. I don't know, but thank you for your question from YouTube. Thank you, DP, for being out here this morning, and I really appreciate it. And thank you, you knew, for also helping me see these questions. So thanks so much, so I don't miss them. Okay, I have one from Mr. Short. Thank you, Evan, for being here. Everybody know Mr. Short is my logistics coordinator, and also he's the search coordinator. He had to take on both jobs. We had a search coordinator, a former one. He's no longer with us, and so Evan's taking on 2 jobs. So I really appreciate you, sir, for keeping these searches going. We have to go out there and we have our meetings, and Evan's there to help you guys get into these areas where we need to search. So thanks, sir. His question: after you inspected the well, did you get that big tire moved back over the cover? It backs up. I will not. If not, we will get it Saturday. Yes, well, we'll do that Saturday. Yes, we're having, it'll be kind of going back and forth, trying to pull it and push it. So right now is where it's at, and we should be going out there today. Hopefully, I'll get this phone call today to get that. Actually, it's not a well; it's a mine. So we're gonna get that search and definitely get that done. So hopefully, yeah, we get it done before Saturday. And if not, yeah, we can go ahead and do it. But that's something we can talk about later when I get off the Q&A. I really appreciate it, Evan, for your question. Thank you so much. And I have one from also from Sarah Moore. Thank you for coming out on YouTube. The question is: was Daniel working at the job site that the night before he disappeared, or was he working for his Instacart, or did he have another job? Now, I do need to check with the company to see, that's a good question on the 22nd, because, I need to look at the day of the week. If the 22nd fell on a weekday, that's the day he would have been working. And I need to know where he's been working on that day for the job, for Matrix. That's what I'm talking about. But I do know he was working for Instacart that night, and he was working really late. So if there was a concern, somebody say, hey, he said he was sleepy or whatever, tired, then that would be in common sense. Like I said before, if the Buckeye Police Department did a little work, to check into his Google account and things like that, which they did, and they just gave me a phone with all of that stripped away, and I was able to get it back by talking to Google, they helped him putting that stuff back on his phone. I would have never known that he was working that night, things like that. So a lot of things I do know now, and he was working very late the night before, according to Google. At least that's his movements. His movements suggest that he was working that night. Those movements could be anything else. I'm still looking into that. But as it stands right now, those movements would indicate that he's working with Instacart. I'm still waiting on Instacart to get back with me. I've been trying for a while, which I'm going to try again today. It's been a couple days several days since I last tried with Instacart to get that stuff downloaded back. His movements, his work logs, basically, what he's been doing, to see if they can do that. So I'm still working on that. If I can get that to tie that in with everything, what I got from Google, then I can be sure that he was actually at his job, or it was just his phone moving around in that area. So that type of deal. So we'll figure that out pretty soon. But thank you for your question. And let's see here. Thank you, New, again, for pointing out these questions. If I end up missing them, ask you guys to forgive me. Like I said, you put the word question there first, followed by your question, then that'll help. Okay, I have one again from DP. DP, thank you so much for your question again. Did you find out what color vehicle coworker was driving? Oh, well, again, if the coworker would be that last guy that saw, saw my son, it would have been white. If you're talking about that gentleman, yeah, his vehicle's white. What I've seen when I talked to him, so it could be driving a different vehicle that day. I don't know, but what I've seen is white. I didn't ask, what he's driving that day, So on the 23rd. So I don't know, but I do know that it was there. So thank you for that question. Also, let's see if y'all have any more questions. Again, put the word Q there, and then I can get the question. But again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who were missing on June 23rd. I'm doing the Q&A. I'm having a candlelight visual this weekend, and I ask you guys, if you can, please come out to support. It's on this weekend at 6:30. So if you guys can come out there and show support, stand in solidarity with us, bring awareness to my son's case. As you know, when y'all doing that, we're making a big statement about the numbers, bringing attention. Sometimes the media coverage, it comes and goes. It took me 3 months to even get local news coverage. It took me another month or so to get it to go national. The people gave the Petito case all the props. Again, being a minority is a little more, we'll call a minority. It's been, kind of upsetting to hear that. First of all, to pin up a tragedy from another family against what's happening in my family, they shouldn't be doing that. First of all. Second of all, I don't contribute that case to, my son's case hitting some sense of national. And if it is, it's sad. I contributed to the hard work that's been done on the ground, dealing with volunteers who's out there searching with me every weekend, to my spending many nights out there, email, texting, calling. And I put a hard work for 3 months to hit really hard. And also on social media, where one of the posts I put out went viral from a retweet to, like I said, like Joy Reid from MSNBC. How she got involved was to me. I couldn't get in contact with these people, but I get in contact with their friends, harass them, and then in turn put it out on the network. So I contributed that to a lot of hard work. I do contribute some of it to the Tito case for my son's story to get heard somewhat. And I give a little bit to that because, yes, it's sad to say this country is always have a way of ignoring people of color and putting other things in spotlight. So, we kind of works both ways on that. So I really, really, really thank you guys for helping me to spread the awareness for this case. And also doing so, it'd be to come out to the candlelight visual and make a statement, saying, hey, it's been almost, can you imagine if there was that case that we sent as a national case? You don't see them took 9 months to even send the helicopters out there and the search dogs, and you don't see none of that going on in my son's case. They don't even consider my son missing. They just consider him, like they said that day, hey, he's a grown man. If he want to go disappear on his own, he can. Here's his things we collected from the scene. That's the statement they're making. They don't see that. They don't see that. They don't look at my young geologist, my young, smart, intelligent, brilliant man as missing. They see him as some guy that's walking the street right now and he's gonna come back and get his things. Even so, if my son was doing that, why is he important when his family is out here on the ground in your city, in your state, looking for his son, and you don't see an urgency to try to help his family out? I haven't gotten a call from the mayor of Buckeye. I haven't got a call from the city managers or anybody. They don't get, in my opinion, they don't give a damn. So, excuse my expression. I hate to put it out there, and I know my auntie will get on me pretty soon. But but those are true feelings about that. They don't care, in my opinion. So I had to put that out, and that's how I feel. I don't care, because anytime somebody comes in my backyard, I would say at least hello to you. I don't know if it's a southern thing from South Carolina, but out here in Arizona, they need to do so also. Just say hello to me or something. Let me know that I'm out here on this ground looking for my son. So thank you so much for your question. I have a question again from DP. I still not heard back if you were able to contact the hospital within 100-mile radius. Also, the Forensic Anthropology Center in Arizona, the Law Investigation Division. I sent links to them. Now, DP, I'm not sure where you sent those things, but yes, we did check the hospitals and the mental health wards best we can. That's a thing called HIPAA law, and I can't get past into that. Only thing you do is ask, and send out flyers and things like that. But other than that, that's as far as you can go with that. The Forensic Anthropology Center, I never heard of it. If you send me a link, I apologize. I don't remember getting that or heard anything. I don't even know what they do. But definitely, if you send a link again, you can use the number below, the number that I had below there, and you can send that to me that way. So I really appreciate it if you can. And also, and you said the Law Investigative Division. I don't know what that is. So, so if you send the link, please send them again to that phone number, and I'll get to it as soon as I can, and I'll check those things out and see if they can help and be related to helping me find my son. So thanks so much for that, and I really appreciate you. All right, thank you guys for coming out and joining in on the, kind of joining and helping out on this case and bringing awareness and things like that. I'm going down timeline, and if you guys put the word question there, I'm coming to the end of this Q&A. I'm a little over my time, but I'm going down timeline fast as I can. If you guys put comments there, I really appreciate your comments and your chatter inside the comment section. I will go back and read those. I love you guys for giving me so much support. It helps out, my morale. It helps out, for me to keep going. So I really appreciate it when you guys do that, and help me keep going. So appreciate your time coming out just to be here on the Q&A. If you guys can hit that share button, the like button, and whatever the other things you do for this YouTube thing, I really appreciate that. So you can do that to help the algorithm to help me get farther out to more people. Jen, this is the first time I've seen you. For example, I really thank you for coming out on the Facebook side and with your question. The question is, did Daniel have any conflicts or confrontations with anyone in the days just before his disappearance? Now, as a father, of course I can be biased about that because I don't know. I don't have any evidence to say that he had any conflicts with anybody or anything that happened. But by what I know about my son, he's just not that kind of guy. He don't have any. Matter of fact, he's with a family, for instance. He's a guy that if we did have any kind of conflicts, he's the one that else would step in the middle and help out. Daniel's a really, really friendly guy, really nice-natured man. And when I say friendly, he usually just make friends easily. You know what I'm saying? People that know my son will tell you that. His friends will tell you that. He have tons of friends out there right now. I don't get to talk to them personally, but I know they're out there right now trying their best to bring awareness to my son's case because they think a lot of him. I couldn't see myself, Daniel, as somebody have any kind of conflict with anybody. He just don't have that type of nature. I don't see him arguing. He don't even argue with his siblings like that. So I could see him arguing with somebody and have that type of conflict, especially without trying to resolve that conflict. So, but anyway, there's no evidence of that, or I didn't hear anything about any conflicts or confrontation with anybody. So I hope that's not the case. If that is, I hope to find it. But as it stands now, I don't see any of that in this case. So thanks so much for your question, Jen. Again, I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing from his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021. Been out here since June 26th looking for my son. Also having my own investigation along with my private investigator and my former private investigator information he left behind. And still trying to find answers to what happened to my son in this case. So thanks so much. You can help too by joining in on this Saturday, March 12th, having for the candlelit visual to bring awareness to my son's case and also the awareness of the fact that this happened to many other family. Again, my son is America's son, not just my son or my family's son, his mother's son, he's America's son, meaning that this happened to a lot of families. We out here looking for our loved ones and getting little to no help from law enforcement who's sworn to protect. They can say they do a lot and they can put things in paper or whatever. Paper don't mean nothing to me. It's not more valuable than what is written on. And actions speaks louder than words. And I will say that again. If you really was concerned about my son and you see me out here on this ground, I would like to see the Buckeye Police Department standing next to me on every one of my searches. It's on the front side of the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, on the first page. They've been invited forever to come out to the searches. They only been to 2 of my searches, and that's under my invite. That's because I CC the city managers and everybody else to put pressure on them to make sure they show up. The first time they showed up empty-handed, and they were useless. The second time they came with the equipment, was some of the equipment. They didn't come out with everything that I needed. They came out just to search a well, just one well, and they didn't do that properly. They sent the cameras down that I asked for, underwater cameras. They brought a camera in from someone with makeshift stuff, and they took the camera to the surface of the water, looked at the surface of the water and pull that camera back out and say, oh, your son is not here, that type deal. And that's wasn't acceptable to me. I didn't really want to say much about it publicly at the time because I don't want to come off as some type of police basher or against police and stuff like that. We need police, but we need the police to do their job properly. And I'm a person, I'm a supervisor, and I'm their boss. And if they're not doing their job properly, I'm going to call it out. And they haven't called out, they haven't did the job properly. So I had to do the job myself, and which I just did yesterday. You guys joined in yesterday. You were seeing the footage, which I may do it again, of the search of those wells and how it's done and how it's supposed to have been done. So that's what I was able to do. So I'm grateful for that. Again, I have a question here from She Rose Nation. Thank you for coming in from the YouTube side. Thank you so much for your question. I see you waving your hand. Are you able to get the minutes from the FBI meeting? Did you ever ask the chief why he would have the meeting without you present after asked to be there? I didn't ask Chief Hall anything after that point. I was really disappointed immediately when he first told me that he asked for a case briefing with the FBI. My attorney, she immediately wrote a letter to Chief Hall and inquired that we both be present. If they didn't want her, but she's an attorney, sometimes how she explained it, that the police departments get a little weary when you bring an attorney along. So, but she also included, hey, look, Mr. Robinson definitely need to be there and need to be present in this case briefing. He ignored that message. He did get it. He ignored it, and they had it secretly, supposedly. I don't really believe they had it at all. I'm gonna check into that, but I keep saying I'm gonna check into it. I will. Yeah, I don't believe they had it at all. But they did tell me almost a week later. I tried to give them a time. I know when this case brief was gonna be. So my attorney said, "Hey, be patient. Give them the rest of this week." We did that, and then they called me like that Monday or that Tuesday, Detective Biffin, and then told me that story. He told me that they did have the case briefing, and that they would not be coming to my son's case because they felt that you, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job searching for his son on your own. I don't need them, that type deal. And that was hurtful to me to hear that. I've been working real hard to get the FBI into this case, to even look at my son's case, and that's what I was told. And I really heavily doubtfully, when he told me that, believe that the FBI would say something like that. So again, you're right. That's just something I don't have no confidence in talking to Chief Hall about anything. I don't believe anything he got to say too much. So I will be checking in other avenues to validate did it even happen at all, first of all, and ask the reason why I wasn't part of that when I did ask. And I do have the letter to show, and I do have the people that I CC'd in that was CC'd in that letter, and everything else to that department. So they did receive it. And thank you again for your question. I do want you guys to please hit the like, share, and subscribe button to help the algorithm bring the stories more attention and bring the Q&A to more attention, get more people, get the algorithm going so I can get out farther to talk about my son's case. And thank you so much. All right. Again, I have a question for DP. I'm getting all close to the end. When I get down to the bottom, I will end the Q&A. But I want to also share some things with you guys, if you can hold on, about Saturday. So if you can hold on for a second, I really appreciate that. DP question: can you look back in live chat after to see all my questions, comments? So I know if you need me to re-email contact information, LE oversight Arizona Forensic Lab, who've gotten bones, etc. Yes, please hit that number there, DP. We can get that all squared away right there. Everything that you need have questions on, we can get that squared away. I can get that the information from you and everything else. So thank you for your question. I really appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you helping making some awareness and things like that. So God bless you on that. All right, again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, who's have a son, Daniel Cornelius Robinson. Of course, Daniel Cornelius missing on June 23rd, 2021. I'm his father, David Robinson, and I've been here since June 26th, searching for him. And it's been going on 9 months since my son been missing. have this Q&A for your questions. And I'm coming down to the end of the questions. If you guys have a question, please put the Q there or put the word question there before you ask a question, and I can get to it. So thank you so much. And I'm running through these questions, and I really appreciate you guys putting it out. Here you go, DP. Is there only one county in search area or more? How many miles from the nearest major interstate, highways, and cities, towns to that work site? Well, it's the only major cities. Well, Buckeye is in the city of Buckeye. The only major cities would be Phoenix. That's a major city, and that's 40 miles away. And the counties is part of Maricopa County in all that area. And you have those areas like cities, small cities like Surprise, Goodyear, some of those areas in that department. That's the reason why it's important we put these flyers out, and these flyers will cover those areas. That flyer search is flyer distribution is very important. And the way I was able to tackle that and get it in those areas is for people like yourself. If you're here in Arizona, they, to be able to pass them out and get that awareness everywhere. So, even the Buckeye, have people there putting things on window fronts and things like that in the Buckeye. So everything happens where it should when it comes to awareness. I have the billboards from the east side of Phoenix all the way out to Buckeye on the interstate. I-10 is a very big major corridor to California and other states, New Mexico, and it helps out a lot getting awareness out there, and as part of my search effort. People out there see something, hear something, they can say something. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, then we got the see if anybody have any questions, please put a Q there or the letter, the word question there, and I can get to you. I'm coming down to the end. Get down to the end of the Q&A, and if you guys have any questions, please put them up there with like I said, the question and then the word question or Q, and then followed by your question, and I can find it. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That will help out again. Thank you, thank you, Gwen. Thank you, all the administrators in the chat for putting up information for people to hear. Please donate, sign a petition, and go to Please Help Find Daniel for all the information that you need concerning the candlelight vigil I'll be having this weekend, to how you can help, in other ways and all kinds of things. So I have one question here from Sunset Dragon. Is there any way that the first investigator would have been involved? I know sometimes criminals like to help, so they know they are not on the watch list, I guess. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe Mr. McGrath has anything to do with my son's disappearance. In fact, I feel like he did a great job with this. Had he not come along and have not brought him on, I would have never known that this vehicle had red transfer paint. You don't see that in the report on the side of the vehicle where it's laying. I wouldn't know that, know about the impressions that something from the outside hit the inside, outside, something from outside hit that windshield on both ends, trying to come in with, like, for instance, the way it appears, like maybe a baseball bat or something like that, or something heavy, large, or a big boulder or something been thrown at it, that type deal. And how the crash, the impact ripple the sides of the vehicle and things like that from his expertise. So I wouldn't know that this the sunroof didn't have a glass, for instance, and that is just a way this pops open, you push over the panel. And I would have known things like that. The glass, I would have known that it been driven for an additional 11 miles after the first initial crash. I would have never known that the first crash happened around 1 o'clock that day. So certain little things like that I would have never known. So I do say he did his job, as in terms of as in the reconstructionist. He's no longer with me because I needed to investigate. I have now someone who specializes in missing persons. He did his job as a accident reconstructionist, not down to his skills. I'm sure he has skills in other areas. He have a whole agency, a whole business involving other investigators and things like that. So he's just not just one by himself. He have a whole partnership with other investigators on his team. So they all do different things. So, but I do need one that just specializes in one area, and that's what I have now. So, thank you for that. No, I do not feel that he have an involvement. Now, I'll tell you like this, and I'll tell you again, I don't rule anything out. Period. I'll be stupid to do so. As a father, my son is missing, and I'll be one-sided in my mind if I don't consider everything. I consider everything, but I don't believe that that you have anything to do with that. So, thank you for your question. All right, She Rose Nation. Question: do you find it strange that Daniel's job called the rancher for the pictures? I very much so do. I really do. That's if it's accurate. I can only go by what the rancher told me, and I'll go by that, and that's what I have at the time until something been proven otherwise. But yeah, for them to do that, if they did, been harassing them for pictures, that would be strange. There's some other little strange things that was happening, but at the time that I witnessed for my own when it comes to that, but that would be strange. So I look at it again. I look at every avenue. I consider everything, and but I'm not saying as a stand for now. I don't suspect his job or anything like that. So I really appreciate the question. Thanks so much for your question, and from YouTube. Thanks so for joining in and helping. I do have one from Nicole here from Facebook. Has law enforcement sent pictures of Daniel to all the hospitals within a certain mile radius from where the Jeep was found? I don't know what Buckeye did, but I know we did. When I say we, myself and volunteers, put the flyers out or go to these places and go to the front desk and things like that, make these phone calls. Like I say, phone calls only get but so far. You can speak about, my son's description and things like that. But that's as far as it go. If anybody in there, I can't get past the laws or whatever to get information about any patient that may or may not be in there. But I only can make awareness to the workers, and if somebody knows something inside those facilities, to be able to speak out and say something, because it takes law enforcement to do so. If they haven't done a job with that, then if they haven't done a job, I would, I don't know. They should have done that a long time. They say they did. Went out to some of these areas, hospital or whatever, on their report, I believe. If they did, I hope so. If they didn't, then they need to. Question from Jen from Facebook. Did Daniel have any conflicts or confrontation with anyone in the days just before this disappearance? I think I asked that question before, but no, not that I know of. Jen, I don't know if it's the same question from you or somebody else, but no, I don't know any conflicts. Like again, I said, my son, his nature is not in that manner. He's just not one of those guys that have a lot of conflict with people. Matter of fact, he's a really peacemaker. He's really outspoken and really friendly guy. So if he did, he'd be the one to try to resolve it very quickly. So that's Daniel. That's his personality. So I don't have any evidence of that, but I'm not ruling that out either. So thank you for the question. Have one from Gina. Thank you, Gina, again for all the efforts and things you do in the background and everything you do. So question, are there any updates on the fundraising efforts to get forensic work done? No, I haven't looked at the GoFundMe in a while. I don't have time to even look at it too much. But I do know I'm asking people, if you can donate, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com to donate, because this effort I'm doing is not cheap. I'll just put it that way. It costs a lot. But I can't effectively do any more the desert search or search like I used to. We had to cut down on expenses from using the razors, things we do need to scout areas that's farther out, to try to find ways to get volunteers on there, because foot searches are very important, and we need those type vehicles to lead before foot searchers get to these areas. We take those vehicles to scout those areas and be able to make sure they're safe. First of all, before we can actually have them search, we look for things like vertical mines to an area where to search. And some things some people just can't get to on foot easily, and those vehicles help out. For instance, we have drones that we have to take out there also to look ahead of people and things like that. So it takes a lot of willpower, a lot of money to work, to do certain things out there, and also to keep the searches going with the flyers I'm constantly buying these flyers, and now I'm getting more people wanting flyers from different states and shipping those out. Flyers had to be mass produced. Having them mass produced, I just picked up 3 boxes this week. Having them mass produced, so having them mass produced is not cheap either. I have billboards out there that have to be paid for every month. So this whole thing, this whole operation, everything that has to deal with Daniel finding my son. Yes, I need funding to constantly come in. I think people get confused by looking at the numbers on the GoFundMe, what's been collected so far. GoFundMe don't have a chart or anything that will state how the money being used or how it's being used, how much is being used. It just only give you an amount that being collected, and that's not even minusing the fees that they take out. So you guys got to take that into consideration too. So we definitely need all the funding we can get, so you guys can donate. I'm always constantly asking. I just even opened up a Cash App for those who Cash App on the Twitter for those who was concerned about the fees from GoFundMe. They wanted to get a way to donate without the fees coming out and things like that. So yes, so the fundraising effort was ongoing. I really appreciate you, who's in the chat, Mr. Q, Miss Q, T. Sophia, and you all, Renegade, who all was working real hard too, and also Gizzle K from Grizzly True Crime. All of you guys who was working on the YouTube side of things, trying to bolster funding to come in to help me continue my searching and keep me here in Arizona. Also, just help keep me here in Arizona, keep me on the ground. I'm using my funds too. I use my monies also in the pot. So just keep me here on the ground, and I have to. It's my son, of course, but to keep me here on the ground. And so I really appreciate you guys when you do so. Giving constant donations. I definitely need those to keep continuing in. I would check on that, Gina. On that, I haven't looked at it in a while. I've been so busy trying to do everything else, but I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so, and so I can continue to be effective for my son. So thank you so much for that question. All right, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you guys do that to help me get more awareness. And so I really thank you guys for being a part of my Q&A. I'm trying to get down to make sure I don't miss anybody's question. If I did, I will apologize. Can you bring it out for the next Q&A? Hopefully I'll do it tomorrow morning. If not, I'll do it the day after. Tomorrow morning will be Friday. Well, I will not do it. So we'll have to be tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. And, so if you have any questions, please, by all means, please hold them until the next Q&A. Again, I have a question here. We're having a candlelight vigil this weekend. And if you guys can be a part of it, I really appreciate that. David, if there's any time this weekend, I'd like to take you and Gwen to the place I want to eat at while I'm there. Okay. Oh, that's that's a comment. Okay, I thought it was a question, but I need to be there at the Waffle House. Okay, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Ms. Q, for that, and we'll get with you when you get in town. I really appreciate that for everything you do on your back end. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Also, I need to see if you guys have more questions. I'm going on the timeline, and we can see if we have any. If not, you guys please try again on the next Q&A. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps out a whole lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I do have a question here from Keisha. I say 19,000 acres searched. Is this land a part of the new development coming soon? Yes, a lot of the area is part of the new development. I think it was Howard Hughes Foundation or Howard Hughes something. They're gonna put a smart city out there, and yes, they're spending millions. I think, from what I'm saying, over $500-600 million project. So there's a big project to be put out there, and they spend a lot of dough. And I'm sure, like I said before the year was out, they had me to check some of the area. I had checked some of the area because they told me they was going to be breaking ground in January. They look behind, I guess, and so they're trying to develop it. So yes, it's a big project out there for that question. Thank you so much for your question, Keisha. And again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. If you guys can, okay, well, I think I'm down to the end of it. Thank you all for coming out and helping me in my Q&A. Again, we having a candlelight visual this weekend, and if you guys can be a part of that, also I'm doing a live stream, working with Gizla K, Grizzly True Crime. Try to do the live stream through this channel, YouTube channel. She will be helping me out with that, and so we have a photographer there that'll be helping out. So we try to get those cameras. So guys, for everybody who cannot make it in person, which I wish you can, or you can, or encourage somebody you know that live out here to show up. We need the numbers. So if you can't, for any reason you really can't get here this Friday, this Saturday at 6:30, say I have the live stream for you and things like that, so you can see it, see what's going on from your home. But it'll be on here on this channel, the Please Help Find Daniel. It'll be hosted by Grizzly True Crime, Gizla K. She'll be providing that stream, and I really appreciate that, her help. So that's what we have standing for now. I'll try to make sure that information is on the website today, so you guys can know how to stream in. Also, like I said, just thank you for everything. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for everything you do. I really appreciate you guys. Again, for coming in and helping with this Q&A. If you can hit that like, share, subscribe button, if you subscribe, I really appreciate that. That helps out, to get this out farther. It's been hard. It's been hard, y'all, trying to do this and juggle everything at one time, do so much. But my son is worth it. If it's your son, you even meet Daniel, you'll see why. He's my son. I love him, and I have to do everything I can. I'll die for my children. So the thing is, my children know I love them, and and I'm gonna do what I can, the best I can. I'm not perfect. I don't do anything perfect, but I'm trying my best. So you guys being by my side, y'all family to me. I love each and every one of you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are very special to me. Just sticking in there with me, helping in every way you can. God bless you. I hope y'all have a great day. I will try my best to have mine. I'll be busy as usual. So thanks so much for the support. God bless you.